Yo, Bo, welcome to another episode of In the Life of MightyFan. Got a few things to do today. Got a couple pickups to share, excuse me, and a little chit chat because why not? It's a slow time of year right now, sports wise. The All-Star game for baseball happened last night. The American League won 5-3, but my Phillies put on a good show. They did okay in the game, and Alec Bohm put on a nice home run derby the night before. But there is literally next to nothing on. So I'm like, all right, well, this is a perfect time for me to, show some pickups, do a little video here for the channel, and, just do what I do, right? And not have to worry about missing much on TV, right? So let's get right into it. We got a couple hats. So here's the first one. This one's from Cap City. Saw this the other day. It is one of those that, I did say, at some point I would like to get a version in this particular style. So I was glad to find one that was still available in my size. Because, of course, as we know, we talk about fitted. We got the Oakland A's, who hopefully the Phillies can do a little business with at the deadline. But we're more on that a little later. But we got the A's right here, the regular, just the classic, two-tone, fitted with the Ricky Henderson Field patch on the side. And I know I got that tonal green one with that patch a bit back, and I'm like, I still want to get a two-tone in it. Because still, when I think of the Oakland A's hat, I think of this one, so, and I know they won't be the Oakland A's very much longer, but I still think of the two-tone, the classic, A's hat. So, gotta have one with the Ricky, field patch on the side. I love that patch, so definitely was glad to get one in this particular style. You got the good green under, that vintage look, and then you got the flat batterman on the back, black gut, the way I like it, with the sweating and whatever. But yeah, so there you go from Cap City. So nice job by them. And then this one, this is a Fanatics pickup. As soon as I saw this was going to happen. Good old paying for. This was the first retail version of this guy's jersey, because the Authentics had not come out yet. So this was the first retail version of this. So I can always say that I grabbed the very first ever, retail version of this guy's jersey. We should know. We should know, because what do you need to win in the NHL? You need OVs. You need quality Russians on your team. You need as many good OVs as you can get. That last name has to end in OV. And when you have them, you can start doing some winning. So hopefully this guy can be a big part of our future. I'm real excited, for the future. I hope it pans out. I really do. I want some good OVs on this team. I've seen other teams win with OVs. So here it is, the first retail jersey of this player for the Philadelphia Flyers, Matvei Mishkov, the Mad Russian. There it is. There it is. There's his Flyers jersey in all its glory, right to number 39. Okay, I still think of Dominic Hasek, but besides Dominic, now we're going to have another 39 people we're going to think about. So this is the breakaway version. They do not have Authentics in these yet. And even with that, the Authentics are going to cost a little bit. I found that out on the weekend. And, yeah, I'm a little jersey head, OCD. But we're going to, there it is. Mishkov! Oh, I can't wait to see him on the ice. This is going to be fun. I'm not really expecting a lot of great things for the Flyers this season. Honestly, I'd be okay with having a top 5 pick. Maybe get another OV on the team, but or a high level player, because that's what you need, right? But this guy is hopefully going to be part of our future, and part of the turnaround for the Philadelphia Flyers. I hope so. I really do. There's a lot of ballyhoo with him. So he better not suck. So welcome to Philadelphia, Mr. Michkov, and he wanted to come here. He wanted to be a part of the Flyers. And it's cool, man. It's exciting to have a young player to look forward to seeing on the ice. Really, really nice. This is the first also of the new current Flyer jersey, which again, their jerseys are never going to change that much. They kind of went with a 70s, 80s kind of deal for this one when they unveiled them last year, and this was the first one I got for their current look. And again, it's a Fanatics. It's a Fanatics breakaway, so it's the replica, But again, the authentics are not available in these in Michkov at this point. This was the first one available. NHL shield. You got the Flyers crest. That's never changed. You got just that, the black 39s on the sleeves. There you go. Turn it around again. Michkov on the nameplate. I love the fact the Flyers still have the nameplates. That's really cool. 39, all generically, pressed on because it is a replica, but it is what it is. The inside collar, Fanatics, size XL. The weird thing about these is XL I wear in the Fanatics, breakaway jerseys. They're the perfect size for me. But the Mitchell & Ness version, which is very similar, I usually like to go like a 2X. Because the only one I have in their Blue Line collection so far is a Lindros, and it's a 2X, and it fits me just like a Fanatics Breakaway XL. So at least I know my size that I like to go for in these jerseys. And then you have the Fanatics shock tag on the bottom. Oh, look at that. Oh yes. Mark M, you knew. You knew it. Slim, you all knew it was only a matter of time. Jake and Rez and Bay Area, you all know. It was only a matter of time before MightyFan got a Michkov Flyers jersey, and I was so happy. So happy to have some sort of excitement to be a fan of this franchise. It is. It's been a while since we've had, a real exciting something to really look forward to. Even though, like I said, I'm not expecting greatness this season. This season is really about trying to build the team around this guy, and hopefully he pans out. Obviously, he hasn't played a game in the NHL yet, but we have high hopes, and it's nice to have a player to be excited for around here. It just is. It's been a while for hockey, really since '88. When you think of a rookie, obviously we've had some good players, but when they were drafted, like when Giroux was drafted or any of those other guys, you don't know. All right, yeah, they say he's a good player, so okay. Then he turned out to be a really good player, but there wasn't all that hype, when he came in the league and when some of the other young Flyers came into the league. But there's hype about this guy, the Mad Russian. Oh, the Obs are going to start coming to Philly. All those warm weather teams that have had success. Now let a team that you get ice on the window in the winter. We have winners. Well, somewhat. We have winners around here. I go to Flyers games in the winter. I can see my breath come out. All these warm weather, Florida and Las Vegas all winning cups. Enough of that. Now we have to have some cold weather teams win enough. Anyhow, so yes, that was the latest and greatest for that. Now I'm going to get myself together here. We're going to go downstairs. And let me put a couple things away because I'm like that. All right. Michkov. He's in the fold. You knew. It was only going to be a matter of time. Yep. Didn't take long. And that was the first Michkov jersey I saw available. I think the Wells Fargo Center had them available too. And they opened the Wells Fargo, which they never do. So this is how you know this excitement for this guy. The Wells Fargo Center opened their doors during weekdays when there was no games going on. They opened their fan gear shop and they had Mishkov jerseys and paraphernalia available. I didn't go. It was during work. I'm like, well, I mean, they're work days. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna be able to make it. I've gone for jersey stuff during work days, but I'm like, I saw that on Fanatics. I'm like, I could just do a paying for and grab it. So that's what I did. But I'm like, yeah, I know me. I know as soon as the darn Mishkov jersey becomes available. Yep. And I saw them available on the Wells Fargo Center store website too. And it was, the Fanatic breakaway. It wasn't anything authentic. They don't have authentics available yet. And I would like to actually speak on that a little bit. Let me show this next hat real quick. And then we'll get into brass tacks here, right? Let me set this up. I hope. See, I didn't get a new tripod yet. I got a Mishkov Flyers jersey, but I didn't get a new I have to get a new tripod for the phone because it doesn't. I can use it in certain spots, but I can't. I can't use it here. Let me so that glare from the light isn't going to be too crazy. Let me see if I can move it a little over. Yeah, that's a little better at least. A little better. Well, maybe not. Let me see what I can do here. See, the problem is I'm trying to get away from that light right there. But I guess it is the way it is, right? Beggars can't be choosers. So we have another box here. And you're wondering, why is it downstairs? Well, Jersey Head University, shout out to him. Jersey Head University, he always says we're going to address the elephant in the room. So in the Mighty Kingdom, we have to address the fox in the room. I know, Slim, this just makes his day. I mean, yes. See how Festive just slid right over? Look at it. Festive's got moves. So we got to address the fox in the room. We have a hat from the Clink Room. And Festive was excited for this. This was a pre-order. And so with Clink Room, you do get some extras here, a little sticker. What do you think, Festive? Does that suffice? Yeah. We got a little pin in here, too. I don't know if I can get to the pin. Let me try to get to the pin. Here's a little Clink Kong pin. Look at that. Huh? Honors and privileges. Look at that. Festive. It's very exciting. And here's the hat, Slim. Oh, look at that. Another fox hat. Huh? Festive, your thoughts? It's very exciting. Look at the resemblance. Huh? Just... This is... So, yes, whenever there's a fox hat available at Clink Room, most of the time, I try to go after it because we all know I enjoy myself, the Red Foxes. So, this was the latest and greatest pre-order from Clink. And there it is again. Two-tone. The fox right there. And you got the... Right, nicely stitched. I always like how they stitch, how the embroidery is on their hats. And then you got the Clink Kong logo on the back. You got the little two-tone, the underbrim as well. Very foxy right there. Look at that. Huh? Slim? Huh? Very fashionable. Look at fast. I don't think this is your size, Festive. I don't think this is going to work. But Festive is usually the model on Instagram for the fox hats, so Festive will be modeling again at some point, either by the end of the week or by the weekend, but yet again. See, it's very exciting. Festive, I know it's mesmerizing. Oh, my. This is... So anyhow, there's the latest fox hat from Clink Room. And now see, Festive, now you're just in the way. Oh, you're just going to sit down now, huh? You're the center of attention, are you? Huh? Festive, now you have to move. This is getting a little... You just have to... One way or another, Festive. No, that's not... No, you don't have to sit down again. Oh, my goodness. See what I have to deal with. I mean, look at this. Festive. One way or another. All right. Here we go. Okay. All right. Oh, you're going to mark territory now, huh? Anyhow. So that's the latest and greatest from the Clink Room. And very nice job. Like I said, they do a nice job. All the hats are usually pre-ordered. Sometimes, though, they have hats that are readily available. You just kind of have to be in the know, get on their email list and everything. But they do a wonderful job with all the hats they do. It's too many to pre-order. Too many good ones to pre-order. And it's a weekly deal. They pump out hats every week for pre-order. It's usually about a set of maybe 7 to 8 hats per week, maybe a little more or less depending on the week. All designs, all the artists all come up with these designs and their creations, and it's cool. So I have a little handful of Clink Room hats. Yeah, mostly Fox related, but I have a few others. I like them. I like the designs. I like that the stitching is always nice and on point for their hats, and they do a good job. So shout out to Clink Room yet again for another nice one there, another nice Fox hat. And we need more, right, Festive? You're gonna mark again. That's what foxes do. Anyhow, now that the fox in the room was addressed, we are going to move on to a little conversation for MightyFan. I know you all look forward to this. Come on, there's nothing on. There's nothing on TV. What else you gonna watch? All right, we got Cobra Kai coming out. The last season of Cobra Kai comes out on Netflix soon. And I know it's a 2-parter. So part 1 now and part 2 is like November or something like. But we watch. There are some other good shows and such out there. I have yet to get back into the latest season of The Boys on Amazon. I have to watch that. I like that show. I did. Tonight I finished Receiver on Netflix. And it's done by, the same deal as that Quarterback came out last year where they follow, a handful of quarterbacks throughout the season the year before. So last past season they did it for receivers and a tight end because they had Kittle in there. But it was very good. I you can never get enough NFL stuff, right? So it was it was an 8-part documentary. It focused on George Kittle and Deebo Samuel and Justin Jefferson, who should have been an Eagle. It still hurts. That one. I'm glad we have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, but Howie? And also on Amon-Ra St. Brown and Devontae Adams. So those were the 5 that it focused around. Very cool. I mean, it just shows you all the inside stuff, how you get ready for the week, family, all this stuff. And it's just so well done. I love football documentaries, sport documentaries, to be honest, anything, really. But the NFL always does such a great job. And it was really, really cool. The Eagles-Niners game, that wasn't fun to relive. Whereas Bay Area, I know. It still stings. Because that pretty much started our downward spiral. But next season's a new season. But no, it was very, very, very well done. I enjoyed every episode. And it went right through, the Super Bowl. Obviously, because the Niners were in it. Deebo and George. And, what these guys... you just marvel at these players for what they put their bodies through just to play the game. It's amazing. It's a passion that they have for it that just, it is something. And I know about passions, as we know, being a collector. And, but it's nowhere near the kind of things that, what they do on a just daily basis to put their bodies through, what they do to get ready for and during games and after games. It really is something. So if you haven't watched it, make sure you do. It's a very cool documentary. And, definitely recommend it. So I was talking about the price of the Fanatic hockey jerseys. I actually kind of got a little peek. So I put out a thing on Instagram last week because, as I mentioned in the vehicle vlog on the way to the Phillies game, last week's video, New Era got the rights to the NHL. And so I put out a little something with my, my I call it the Jason Duck, the crest, the Ducks, the Mighty Ducks, or the Anaheim Ducks jerseys, the collection, and just saying I'm excited, looking forward to New Era getting them. I hope they do the older logos too for hats, good fitteds or whatever. And because of that, and I tagged the Ducks in there, I guess I just got in the algorithm or whatever. So the next time I'm on Instagram, the very first thing that popped up was an Anaheim Ducks team shop ad. And it was like you saw the new jersey and the hats and stuff. And I clicked on the link and it took you to their team store online. And I hadn't seen the new prices for Fanatics just yet until I saw on that team shop. Now, it's a team site shop. So I don't know if their pricing is a little more, it's kind of a specialty shop. I don't know if they're run by Fanatics or not. Maybe they are. Maybe I know Fanatics runs like everything. So it's hard to find things that aren't run by Fanatics. But I saw the tier pricing for the jerseys, and there's 3 different style jerseys, as I mentioned in the vehicle vlog. So what I showed you earlier was the Mishkov. So that was the run-of-the-mill, just replica, nothing stitched. It's just, that's their breakaway jersey. And that jersey is about the 150 range, according to the Anaheim shop, because they didn't have the jerseys available. They were available for pre-order, but the lowest tier that you can get would be the breakaway jersey for 150. The next tier up, I forget the name they called it, but I would imagine it's kind of generically stitched, probably. I would imagine it would be like that what Mitchell & Ness is doing with their Blue Line collection now. That enough people complained, and now they start to stitch, although they charge them at $225 now instead of $200. But the next tier up for Fanatics for NHL jerseys, and I do forget what they called it, but it's going to be the 200 range. So you have 150, and then for $50 more, it's 200. And I'm guessing, because it's $50 more, it's got to be a little different. So it's got to be like generically stitched or whatever. There's got to be some sort of difference with it, I would hope, for a $50 increment. And then they have the on ice version. Now, I don't know if on ice means you're going to have what the player wears, like those size, everything like what they would wear on the ice. It says on ice. I just don't know about the sizing because, like I said, the jerseys that they wear on the ice, you can't wear because they're just so big. So it's probably something, maybe the sizing's a little different, but you're almost getting almost exact to what they're wearing on the ice, with some differences maybe in the sizing of the jerseys. Those jerseys, according to the Anaheim Ducks store, online store, are $500. Now, remember when I did the vehicle vlog, I said, the mistake that Nike made with their MLB authentic jerseys, and what they priced them at, $400, $470, over $400, in some cases close to $500, and it's way out of control. And now the NHL with Fanatics, the on-ice version of these jerseys are going to be according to the Anaheim shop, is $500. That's insane. I am not one that really goes after with the current player stuff, with Mitchell and Ness it's different, with the throwback jerseys or whatever, but with the current player stuff, I'm not really one to go crazy with the pricing. I only have a handful of authentics. I don't really have a lot. I usually get the swings because they're just more affordable. I can get them. I can get multiple of them and not feel like I'm breaking the bank. And I'm happy with it. Like I said, I'm happy with the Mishkov I have with the Fanatics breakaway jersey, right? Are the on-ice ones going to be available? Absolutely. Am I going to pay $500 for a Matvei Mishkov Flyers jersey? No. That's not going to happen. Even with the paying for option for PayPal, I'm not going to do it. That's outrageous money. I was not happy when I saw the prices for Nike for baseball. And the weird thing with that is I think they're very they're very well priced. Um, for the NBA Authentics and even for the NFL Authentics. And I know that they go up every year, but I still think that, it's a fair price for what you're getting. Um, for baseball, I just don't understand. I can't understand why those jerseys are that expensive. To me, there's nothing that special about them. They're they're authentic jerseys, but there's nothing that says $450 to me with them, right? Now, I haven't seen an authentic on ice jersey. I'll probably see them when I go to Flyers games. I'll see them in the team shop, and I'll get the feel of the material and see what all the hype is about. But I'm not spending $500, and I would imagine even at the team shop, because usually the prices are a little more there. It's probably going to be more than $500 for an on ice authentic there. That's just not going to happen. Now, look, I mean, there's different schools of thought about it. There could be some people that's just what they want, and they still think it's worth the price. I don't know how many people like that there are for $500 a pop. But me, I'm just going to be happy with the breakaway or the $200 level ones. If the $200 level ones are like generically stitched, I mean, okay, I'll spend the extra $50 for that and do the paying for and catch sales, and whatnot, and then get them a little cheaper. But for the on ice 500, and again, this is according to the Anaheim Ducks team store online. That's their pricing. And I can imagine it's probably, if it's not exact to the penny, it's probably very close to what Fanatics is going to charge for those 3 different tiers of jerseys. I don't understand what they're doing with the on ice. They're pricing people out. I mean, hockey collectors, like diehard hockey collectors. I mean, they are very they're very loyal to getting the authentics. They don't want to get the breakaways. They don't want. Some do. I mean, even the hockey guy, he has, breakaway jerseys or whatever. But most of his collection's authentic. A lot of the hockey collectors are the same way. They want as authentic as can be. And I can imagine that the $500 price tag is going to be a big talking point. Once this really starts circulating around, and again, these jerseys really aren't even available just yet. We're probably going to have to wait till it gets closer to the season, maybe close to maybe end of August, September, before these start rolling out on Fanatics and NHL Shop and all the different places, right? And I'm sure that stores like Pro Image and Rally House and they're not going to get the on ice authentics. They're going to get the breakaways. They're going to get maybe that second tier up, maybe if generically stitched, whatever it is. Those are probably the ones they're going to sell. The only way to get the on-ice ones are going to be online, maybe at the team stores, places like that. Or if there's a place that just specializes in hockey, maybe there too. But for the most part, retail-wise, you're just going to get those other two other tiers rather. So that price point is I don't get it. I don't know what these companies. And I get it. It's the bottom dollar. It's greed. They're gonna sell. For whatever reason, people pay the price for the authentics for baseball. I don't. As crazy as I am for baseball and baseball jerseys, I don't spend that, but other people do because they sell out. I mean, these jerseys are they're there and then they're not there, right? So people are buying them. They're paying the crazy prices. And I'm sure it will still be the same way for hockey. Will I do it? No. The only way I'll probably ever get one of those jerseys is if some player gets traded and you can get dirt cheap or something, maybe. I don't know. And even that, what's the price point going to be? It's still going to be pretty high for a player who is no longer with the team. Now you can get the jersey and send it somewhere, have it customized, and do a current player on the team or what have you, but even that still costs some money. But it won't be $500. To get it done. So, never say never, but I can understand where people are going to have a problem with it, particularly like the diehards. The people who that's all they buy is the authentics. They don't even look at the breakaways. They don't look at, the Mitchell & Ness Blue Line collection. I mean, all the talk about those when they came out was not a lot good. Because they weren't stitched and they were $200. And why are they $200? They're not stitched. They're like the breakaway Fanatic jerseys, and it was a lot. But then Mitchell and Ness made some corrections to them, but then they upped the price by $25 each. It is what it is. You can still find deals and such, um, but even that, right? I don't know, man. I don't like the way where this is heading, because I can kind of see this happening with a lot of authentic jerseys now. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but at some point, the price is just going to go up extramentally for these jerseys, like these authentic jerseys, right? And again, I think it's a very fair price, particularly for basketball. For basketball authentics, what Nike charges for them is a really good deal. Again, mainly I go after the swings because it's still cheaper. I can still get more. Remember, I'm not just looking on Fanatics for stuff. I'm looking on eBay. All these for different stuff. So I'm not just looking for like a Joel Embiid jersey, right? I'm looking for, there's this vintage jersey, or there's that old run Mitchell Ness or something. So that's how I kind of look at it. It's like, well, I could just get all the authentics, but then I'm spending more, and then that's less I can get elsewhere, right? Now, if I just could focus and say, okay, this is all I'm going to get this month is an authentic Joel Embiid, or Tyrone Maxey, or a Paul George, or some other jersey, authentic, when the City Edition stuff comes out, this is all I'm going to get, and that's it for the month, right? I just don't think that way. It's hard for me to put the blinders on. I do it as best I can, but I like to be able to get a few things. I don't want to just get one jersey and okay, that's all I can do for the month, right? But it's one of those things that I don't know if it's going to get better before it gets worse. And the fact that, I was wondering what Fanatics was going to charge for their authentic line NHL. I knew it was going to be something. Because no company's just going to give away stuff, right? But $500, I just don't know how they can justify that. Because the jersey hasn't really changed that much from the Adidas. The shell is basically the same, right? They did away with the dimples on the shoulders. They did a few other things. But it's basically the same jersey, and the price for an authentic, what Adidas called the authentics, was like less than $300. And now Fanatics, it's $500 for an authentic on ice. I'm probably not going to go after the authentics as much, right? But with Adidas, the price point between the Fanatics Breakaway and the Adidas Authentic really wasn't that much. So it's like, okay, well, I can still get the Adidas in certain teams because the detail is going to be there, right, with the stitching and everything, more so than it would be with the breakaways. And I'm not a hater of the breakaways, as we know. I just showed you the Mishkov not long ago. But still, certain teams, you want that little extra, and it doesn't cost that much extra. And there's sales, there's deals. Right, so it like, okay, well, I can basically get an Adidas Authentic for the same price retail. For a retail breakaway jersey, I would be dopey not to do it, So, it is what it is. I feel for the people who that's all they go after is the authentics. Right, they don't even want to touch the breakaways, and or that second tier with the $200 level ones. They want the ones that the players, it's like what they're wearing on the ice, And I feel for them because it's going to hurt them, Now a lot of them, they might just not say, all right, well, they're pricing me out. I'm just going to go after the older stuff. I'm going to go after the Adidas Authentics. I'm going to go after the Nike from back in the day, or the CCMs, or the pro players, or what have you, the starters, right? That they'll just do that. Maybe that's where the attention will go away from the current players. It is sad in a way because look, there's a lot of nice jerseys in the league. There's a lot of good looking NHL jerseys, and it's a shame that to get an authentic, it's like it costs an arm and a leg. It's even worse than the Nike Authentic for baseball. Now there's more material. But it's like, dude, where's the stopping point? These jerseys eventually are going to be $700-800. It sucks. But that's the thing. When another company takes over, you're kind of at the mercy of what they're going to charge. And as we found out with Nike with baseball, it's through the roof for authentics. And with Fanatics for hockey, it's through the roof for Authentics. Now again, me, I mean, I don't mind getting the swings. I don't mind getting the breakaway, line, or that line that will be ahead of that, a little $50 more. I'm not going to mind getting those, but I do feel for the people who they just want Authentics and that's all they want. They won't even touch the other stuff, right? Now, that is what I saw. I can only base my thoughts about what I saw on the Anaheim Ducks team store online. I don't know. Maybe the pricing is a little different, but I can't imagine much different. I mean, if that's what they're charging, I can't imagine once Fanatics has them, it's going to be that crazy a difference, right? Lower than those prices. The breakaways seem to have gone down in price, though, because the breakaways were like 170, whatever it was, whatever they were, 175, whatever it was, right? So now they went down to 150 because now there's a couple other, lines for Fanatics, right? So they can do that, right? So they're doing us a favor. They're lowering the price of the breakaway jerseys just so they can crazily put up the price of the on-ice authentic. Now, I don't know much about the on-ice ones. For all I know, it could basically be the same jersey you would get as what the players wear. It could be. I don't know. I know that there's differences, like I said, with Nike, with the highest level authentic football jersey. I'm pointing over there because the A.J. Brown, Kelly Green's over there. But that jersey, there's differences to how it's made opposed to what the players wear on the field. There's differences with basketball. There's differences. I think the closest you're going to get is baseball, right? Baseball is probably the closest. Their authentic is probably as close as what the player wears on the field as you're going to get. Hockey, there's going to be some differences because of the cut of they have to be cut a little different. Because in on ice, the jerseys are cutting away to put over the pads. I don't know if they're going to do that with retail jerseys. I mean, maybe they will. I don't know. But they're not really meant to be worn out and about. They're just meant to be worn on the ice. So I don't know if they're going to make those jerseys that exact cut is what they would wear on the ice. I don't think they would, but you never know. It is what it is. All I can do is tell you what I saw, and it was not very appealing at the authentic on ice. But it is what it is, man. There's a lot of greed in this world. There just is. And it doesn't stop at sports apparel. You look around the prices for everything. It goes up and up and up. The cost of living is very high. And I'm not a political person. I don't really speak political, so that's for other people. But it is very high. It's a little too high. For my liking. But it is what it is. So that's the news from that. So we'll see. Once those jerseys officially become unveiled to the public. We'll see what the final prices are be, but I can only speak from what I saw on that one site, and it was only one site, so who knows? But I don't know if there was more of a markup because it's a team store. I don't know, but I'm just reporting what I saw. This is the only time I really looked at the prices for the newer Fanatic jerseys anyhow, because I just wanted to see what. Okay, well here's an ad for some. Let's take a look. Like I said, at some point down the road, I would like to get the new Ducks jerseys. I'm not going to be getting the on-ice one. But, probably the breakaways will be happening at some point, or that other tier below the on-ice. So, we'll see. Anywho, moving on from that. Like I said, the All-Star game was last night for the MLB. My Phillies had a nice showing. I mean, each of them, Harper and Turner and Bohm got a hit. Turner made a nice defensive play when they were all mic'd up. That was kind of cool. The pitchers that the Phillies had didn't give up a run. I mean, heck, Sanchez came in there. 2 pitches, 2 outs, and then they took him out. I'm like, all right. his first All-Star appearance. 2 pitches, 2 outs, and they all right, that's good. We got to keep, because in the All-Star game, it's like a Little League game. You have to get as many people in as you can, particularly with the pitchers. So, and they lax that rule. In the MLB, you have to, all relievers have to see at least 3 batters. You don't have to do it in the All-Star game. Everyone gets a turn. But Strom looked good. I think he got like 1 out. He got the 3rd out of an inning. Hoffman got the outs he needed. And like I said, Bone put on a nice show in the home run derby. I think that stadium is not a good stadium for home run derbies, though, because the balls died. Yeah, I don't know. But it is what it is. Still a nice showing by him. He's really not. He has like 11 home runs going into this thing. So, yeah. Him getting the nod for the home run derby is like, okay. He should. We all say, well, he should be hitting more home runs, but he had a nice showing on Monday night. It was good to see. He beat out Pete Alonso at least. Bum, that polar bear. Yeah. Stop. No more damn home run derbies for you. Okay, go away. No one wants to see you anymore in the. But anyhow, so that was cool. I thought overall, it was a pretty good All-Star game. AL won again, but see, you need a Phillies manager there. The NL. The only time the NL won the last 12 years or whatever, the Phillies manager was there. See, and a Philly actually got the save, and Castellanos actually had the winning run. So we just you just need a Phillies manager back. So next year, Topper's got to be the manager again after we go to the World Series this year. Right? Yeah, because the 2 managers in the World Series the year before get to manage the All-Star. The NL should just say, you know what? Hey, the Phillies just got to go back to the World Series so Topper can manage the All-Star game next year in Atlanta. The Phillies have it in a few years, 2026. It's coming to Citizens Bank Park, so that's going to be exciting. I might try to get to the game as a ticket holder. Maybe we get like a chance to go. So we'll see. But we're a couple of weeks away from the deadline, the trade deadline, and there's a lot of talk, man. Should they or shouldn't they? The Phillies have 2 very high level prospects. And I'm one of those that feel that prospects are only as good as how they're going to play in the MLB. I remember so many high-level prospects that just never did anything, right? Even the ones that were traded away from here. Sixto, Sanchez, all these guys, right? But I also remember a lot of high-level prospects who did pan out here and even for other teams. I really think you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. It's weird because the Phillies are in a situation now. They're 64. They're 64 and 30. 62 and 34 going into the break. They have the best record in the majors. This is a team that was in the World Series 2 years ago. Just missed it last year. Damn Snakes. And they're well on their way to having, to hopefully winning a division title this year, and maybe hope they can give us another long run in the postseason. It is really you're walking that thin line, because here's the thing. As good as the Phillies are, I know they still need some help in some areas. And I'm looking at the outfield, and I'm looking at the bullpen. And their bullpen is really good. It is. They had 2 guys in the All-Star game, right? Strom and Hoffman, deservedly so. But I still think they still need another piece. And the outfield, for a team that's 62 and 34, you look at the outfield on this team, you look at their bats, Castellanos is very inconsistent. Rojas, as good a future Gold Glove as he's going to be, he's if anything else, he's not a power bat. And then you have Marsh, who can't hit lefties.
So you're kind of handcuffed there, right? You do have some issues. They have an outfield combined home run wise that might have like 30 some home runs between the three of them. And usually outfielders, that's Aaron Judge and all these guys, Soto. You think of the outfielders, they're the ones that are popping out the home runs, right? Or the corner infielders, right? Usually that's how it works. Phillies don't have that. They don't have a lot of power at all outside of maybe Castellanos in the outfield. They just don't. And yeah, they're still good on offense. They're going to get JT back. That's going to help their offense. That's going to lengthen out their lineup. Even without him, they've still found a way to stay ahead for the best record in the league. But I look at that outfield, and I remember how they lost last year to Arizona. And the problems that we had, particularly in that series, and the offense just disappearing. And it's weird that they're all going to disappear at the same time collectively because they were so good before that series. They were just a juggernaut, They all went cold. And I just remember that series, and I remember there was a big at bat, and it was Rojas at the plate, and it's like, oh. And of course he strikes out, right? And it's just, I'm a little concerned about that. Like, I'm okay with, right, what for most of that lineup, right? Turner is playing like an MVP. Harper's playing like an MVP. Schwarber, you know what you're going to get out of him. Bohm is an all-star. I'd like to see Stott get going, but we've been saying that all year, so we'll see. I know what we're going to get out of JT, right? They still have enough thump in the lineup. Castellanos is just so inconsistent. When he's on, he's on. He's an extra base machine. But just, he flails away. So many pitches way outside of the zone. It's like, oh, right? It's like the rich getting richer. I get that, but I would love to see another bat in this lineup. And particularly another right-handed bat, and in the outfield as well. Now, here's the thing. Remember I mentioned about the A's before? The A's are going to come into play here. The A's are not good. They beat us. I know. That was like the before All-Star game. The Phillies just swept the Dodgers, so of course they would have the letdown against the A's. It was just, you could just see it coming, right? But they were ready for the All-Star game, like going like the day before. Like they were having their plans to leave, and they got thumped on that last game. Boy, did that one. The A's have this Rooker, right-handed thump, and he hit 2 balls in the Ashburn Alley on that last day of he had a big series. He's like showing himself for the Phillies, right? And all of our eyes started getting a little wide, and we're like, oh yeah, we can see him in Phillies pinstripes. That would be okay. Here's the issue, but maybe it's not an issue. In my mind, okay? We don't know what he is as an outfielder. Apparently, he's a left fielder. He's a DH on the A's, right? He's their DH, but he can play left field, apparently. Apparently not very good. He's not going to be here for his glove, but he can play left field. The last 2 times the Phillies won a World Series, the left fielder was Greg Lazinski, and all due respect to the Bull, he was not known for his glove. And Pat Burrell in 2008. And all due respect to Pat the Bat, he was called Pat the Bat, not Pat the Glove. Okay? Now, he had a hose of an arm, Burrell. He threw a lot of base runners out, at home plate, but he was not known for his glove. Neither of them were known for their glove, and they won the World Series with Lazinski and Burrell as their left fielders. The only 2 times the Phillies ever won a World Series was with those 2 as their left fielders. I'm not expecting the left fielder of the Phillies to be a Gold Glover. I'm just not. I don't know when that will ever happen. It's okay. We have a center fielder in Rojas who could be a Gold Glover someday. I'm okay with that. We don't need Gold Gloves all over the field, but Rooker would be such a big help here because he's a right-handed he can hit right, he can hit lefties, which Marsh can't do. And even if they want to do some sort of a semblance of a platoon, you can still use Marsh. You can put Marsh in late in the game as a defensive replacement. He can be a pinch runner. He can be a pinch hitter against righties. Not lefties. You can still do stuff with Brandon Marsh. I like Brandon Marsh. He's a personality. The hair. He fits Philly. He fits this team. And he's a lovable character, he is, but he has his downfalls. And against lefties, he's not good. And Rooker hits lefties. So you could take care of what could become a problem in the postseason if you get Rooker. And of course, the A's also have a pretty big beast as their closer in Mason Miller. Now, the Phillies are okay with what they have at the back end of their bullpen. They are. They have Hoffman, who was an all-star, deservedly so. You could put Strahm in that at the 8th inning. He was an all-star. Even if you want to still go Alvarado, he's an adventure. He is, but okay, I can understand the argument. Soto, Orion Kirkring. You have some pieces there on this bullpen. I mean, they're not as bad off as some of these other teams that are going to be looking for bullpen help at the deadline. The Phillies are probably, it's like they're solid, but I still feel they're a piece away. And I remember last year, and I remember that damn Game 4 in Arizona when I was yelling at the TV when at the end of the season in September, I'm sitting in my seat in section 422 yelling from my seat. Keep Kimbrel off the playoff roster. Keep him off the playoff roster. And then I'm sitting in the recliner right here. They bring him into the game. I don't want to live that again. And I feel that the Phillies, because Alvarado gives me the shakes. Alvarado is an adventure, okay? I don't want to be in a situation where it's a close game and in comes Jose and out goes the ball, or he walks the ballpark. I don't want to see that. I have faith that he can find himself again, but I still would like a little extra insurance in this bullpen, okay? And the best piece out there is Mason Miller. Now, not only that, but Miller and Rooker are still under contract for a few years. So it's not like you would be getting a rental. I don't want to give up top prospects, even though prospects are what they are. I don't want to give up top prospects for a rental. I don't want to do that. These guys, these two, who fit what this team could use, are not rentals. They're under team control for another how many years? All right? Are they the youngest guys in the world? No. But you still have them under control for at least another 3 years. I'm okay with that. We can roll with it, Again, I'm not expecting anything defensively from Rooker. If we get anything defensively from him, it's a bonus. Okay? It's unexpected. And if he's that bad, man, maybe you think about putting, even though he's not very good in left field, but defensively, but maybe Schwarber can go out there. Maybe Rooker is the DH. I don't know. You still have enough time in the season where they can figure it out. Now, here's the problem. Yes, those two are under contract, and because of that, their price tag is going to be that much more. You're going to have to give up top-level prospects for them. The Phillies have two very good-looking prospects. They have Aiden Miller, who's an infielder prospect, very well thought of from the team. I mean, Mike Schmidt's name's come up a few times with him. He's not a third baseman, but he's an infield. He plays the infield. I think he's a second baseman. But, I mean, you don't throw around Mike Schmidt's name very often with a minor leaguer, but they're doing that with him. And they have Andrew Painter. Now, Painter's coming off of a Tommy John surgery. He's not pitched at all this year. He won't be pitching till next year. That's okay. We all know Tommy John isn't what it used to be. Pitchers come back stronger, better. Painter is the real deal. He is the real deal. I know we've had some prospects in the past that, well, this guy, you can't give up on him, and then he ends up being a bum, you know? Painter is going to be a very good pitcher in this league. He just has the stuff. And my concern about giving up a Painter is Ranger Suarez. And I love Ranger Suarez. He's one of my favorite players on the team. But I worry about his arm. He has never pitched a full season as a starter. He's doing that this season. And they're talking about a little dead arm or whatever it is that he's having right now. He's having some, you know, they call it a lower back or whatever it is, but he hasn't been right, you know, for a few weeks. And going forward, I know they locked up Nola and Wheeler and Sanchez, but that fourth guy is still not locked up. They didn't lock up Suarez. Now, the good thing about Ranger is he could either be a starter or he could be a reliever. Right now, this season, he has to be a starter. But going forward, if it's not going to work out as a starter, he can go back in the bullpen, and he's a very effective reliever when he was in there. So I'd be okay with that, but all right, we still have a hole at pitcher. What are we going to do? And Painter would be that guy. I mean, he would solve the problem. But here's the thing. The Phillies are in an opportunity this year where they could really win it. I know nothing's given. I understand that. You know, you get into the postseason, anything can happen, right? We saw that last year. You've seen that in other years. The Dodgers lose, the Braves. We beat the Braves 2 years in a row, right? One of the best teams in the league, right? There's never a guarantee. But the Phillies are damn good. They can hit and they can pitch. And they can throw pitchers at you in a postseason series. They can throw 4 pitchers. If Rangers right, they can throw 4 pitchers at you in a postseason series. And not a lot of teams can do that. Teams are having some problems with pitching. The Phillies, if Wheeler, and I know Wheeler has some back tightness or whatever, hopefully he'll be okay. Hopefully this rest will heal him as well as Ranger. But if those two are right, and Nola and Sanchez stay good, the Phillies got 4. They got 4 pitchers, starting pitchers they can throw at you. But here's the thing. I'm still a little concerned about what they have in the bullpen. Because they got 3 guys, Sir Anthony Dominguez, Jose Alvarado, and Soto, who scare me. Who are just, I don't know what you're going to see when they come into the game. I really don't. And it's not a guarantee. You get these guys from Oakland who have never been in a big game situation, and they come here and you got the rally towels going, and Citizens Bank Park is going nuts, right? And they haven't dealt with that before, so it could go another way. But I would still feel better if they have a lockdown closer. He's gonna. It shortens the game, right? So let's say you get to the 5th inning and the Phillies are up by a couple runs. Well, you know what they're going to do now. They're going to go to their bullpen pretty soon, and they got Kirkring, and they got Strom, and they got Hoffman, and if they get Miller. Now, Miller's closing the door. If I'm the other team, I'm not, never say never, but that's not looking too good. That's right. You got 3 All-Stars out of that bunch, and you got Kirkring, who's probably going to be a future All-Star, coming at you, right? Throwing those arms at you at the end of a game. And you see how these teams win in baseball, right? It's a shortened game. You go to the bullpen, and you have reliable guys in the pen. The Phillies still have that, I think. But I still want one more piece. And to me, I know you would have to give up a lot to get Miller, and if Rooker's part of the deal, you would have to probably give up both. You would probably have to give up both Aiden Miller and Andrew Painter. And I'm really on the fence. Because I know you win in baseball with pitching. At the end of the day, you can have whoever you want in your lineup. The pitching's what's going to win. And having a special pitcher like Painter coming up through the system, and if he can be your guy, you know, I don't know, probably year after next, he comes up, he's in your rotation. Maybe he comes in at the end of next season, he's in your rotation, and you're set. This team will be more set than most other teams, right, with that rotation. Think about that, right, with those guys, those horses that they would have. But at the same time, there's a window for this team to win. There's a window. It's about another, I would say, a 2 or 3 year window with the team as they have it right now, with Harper, Turner, right, the kids, the young guys that are going to be older. but Schwarber, Realmuto, Castellanos. I mean, this core, you're going to have this for a few years. You got to take advantage. You got to take advantage. And it would suck. It really would, because the Phillies for a long time, their farm system was terrible. I mean, when they had the previous regime, it was just bare as can be. And now you finally have some fruits. But what's the good of a farm system if you can't use some of those prospects to help you win? To trade them, to get guys on the team that are going to only help you, hopefully help you win a World Series, a championship. At the end of the day, that's what sports is. That's what it's about. It's about winning. And we don't do a lot of that here, right? I've seen 2 pro championships in my life. I'll be 46 next month. I've seen 2. I'd like to see more. And we have never had a we've never had a dynasty. I would love to see a dynasty in Philadelphia. And it would mean a lot because I know from the other side of it. I know what it is to lose. God knows I know what it is to lose. I want a team that's just gonna be dominant, just dominant for years, and the Phillies have a chance. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but they have a chance to be that. They really did. They were in the World Series 2 years ago. Last year, NLCS. This year, they're making. They have a chance to just blow the roof off this thing. Just a few moves away, and they're there potentially. And they're going to spend every year. This ballpark is called Citizens Bank. It's a bank. Believe me. There's a reason why they can spend the money they do on these players. You see how many people were in that ballpark? It's sold out every night on a Tuesday night in the summer. That thing's hopping. It's sold out, and all the playoff revenue, and they do good with it. So that they have the ownership that's going to go out and make moves. They're not going to be content with just one, right? If the Phillies win it, they're not going to be content with just one. They want more. They want to add on to that trophy case. They have an opportunity, and I don't want to see them blow it. Now, I'm also in the mind that, look, if they don't do it and they hold on to both of them, or one of them could, or both of them could be a part of their future in a few years. But you're talking about a few years from now. What are these other players going to be in a few years? So even a Bryce Harper, what's he going to be in a few years, right? You know what he is now. You know what these players are now, right? These somewhat older veterans that you have, you know what they are. And you're as good as they are, you're still just a few pieces away. And you can do it by making one trade with Oakland. But it's going to cost. It's going to cost. Here is why I would lean towards doing the deal. Even if it took Miller and Painter to get it done. This is why I would think about it. Because the A's are in the American League. It's not like you're even trading to a National League team where these prospects are going to come up and be these big pieces, and now you're going to have to face them every year in the playoffs, right? The only way that they would become anything against the Phillies is if you play the A's in the World Series, right? And Miller and Painter are on the A's doing, that's the only way. And let's face it, even if the A's get Painter and Miller in the deal, they're still some years away from really contending, okay? It's just a few years away from really becoming something, right? They would probably be how many years when they were in Las Vegas at the time before they really start contending, right? So, okay, you're sending them to a team that's not very good, that's in the American League. There's Philly ties there, right? The Philadelphia A's, little solid to the old Philadelphia team, right? Little wink, wink, nod, nod. All right, let's get this deal done, right? But that's part of the reason I would be okay with it. The other reason is because the two players are exactly what the Phillies need right now. Now, maybe Miller and Painter would be part of their future with what they would need 2-3 years from now. And even then, Aiden Miller is blocked. You got Turner and you got Stott, and neither of them are going anywhere anytime soon. Now, the only thing I could say about that is that by the time Aiden Miller is ready to come up to the major leagues, it will be a few years from now, and Kyle Schwarber's contract will be done, and maybe you can move Turner to your as your DH, and you can move Stott from second to short, and then you can put Miller in there as your second baseman. Maybe they can do that. That's how you can see Miller play, unless he can play another position, unless he can somehow play the outfield. I wouldn't do that to him because they did that to another prospect they had years ago named Scott Kingery, and that didn't work out very well. That didn't. He was a second baseman. They tried to make him an outfielder. It didn't work. That experiment failed. So I don't want to see that again with Aiden Miller. If he's a second baseman and he's a really good second baseman, keep him at second base. Yes, in a few years it would probably mean you would have to have Turner as your DH and Stott moves over to short and then you put Miller at second. Okay, I mean, I can see that, but still that's 2 years away. 2 years away. Who knows what this team's going to be 2 years? We don't know. Are they still going to be competitive? Probably. But are they going to be what they are now? I don't know. I can't say that. So if you'd have to give up Miller and you have to give up Painter to get Rooker and Mason Miller on this team and fit the needs that you have today or on July 30th, I should say, going into the trade at the trade deadline, and you can put yourself in prime position to win the World Series this year and then compete for it the next few years, I gotta do it. I gotta do the deal. Because, again, this is what I don't want to see. And again, this is why it's so hard to be a GM of a team. Because you're damned if you do and damned if you don't, right? If you don't do the deal, if that's what it's going to take to get the deal done with Oakland, Aiden Miller and Painter and whatever other prospects to get that deal done, if you don't do it, if the Phillies don't do it and they say, nah, you know what, that's too rich for us, we don't want to do it. Here's the other side of it. And I'm not even saying a team like the Dodgers or the Braves even, or the Brewers, right? Some of these teams that are right up there, right? There's other teams that are kind of creeping up there for the wild card. Now, they're not going to win their divisions, but they still have a shot at the wild card. And here's the thing. If the Phillies don't do the deal and a team like the Mets don't do it, the Pirates, right? One of these other teams that might not win a division title this year, but they're close enough to getting to that wild card where, let's face it, the past few years a wild card team, including the Phillies in 2022, has gone to the World Series. The Diamondbacks last year, right? It's happened. So some of these other teams, it's like you can catch that lightning in a bottle. Maybe they're a few pieces away, and they get Rooker and Miller, and the Phillies don't. And that team, we face them in the playoffs, and we lose to them, right? Because it's bound. Like whoever, if there's another team in the National League who get those guys, we're gonna face them in the playoffs. There's no getting away from it, right? Of course it would happen, right? And Rooker will hit those bombs to Ashburn Alley again, and Miller will close the door, and it would be like, well, why the hell didn't we do it? We had them. All we had to do was give up prospects. I would hate that. That would suck. I mean, you talk about levels of suck. That would suck because now these two guys, they're going to be coveted by every team in the playoff race, right? It's not just the Phillies. It's the Dodgers, it's the Brewers, it's the Braves, it's the Yankees, it's the Guardian. Who knows? All these teams are probably going to be looking, if not for both of them, one of the two, right? Rooker or Miller, right? Every team's looking at them. But I can only speak as a Phillies fan. And as a Phillies fan, as good as we are, best record in the league, I still see the holes. And both of those guys fill the holes. And if you can do that, and okay, you have to give up your top prospects to do it. The other thing is, how often do you have an opportunity like this where you have two guys on one team that fit two very big needs of yours? It's not going to happen every year, right? Sometimes you have to make multiple team deals with other teams to get these players. This is one team that has both of them, and you just saw them. They were just here. I get it, man. I couldn't be a GM. I would fail as a GM. I'll raise my hand. I know. But at the same time, as a fan, man, I just want to win. I want a championship. I want a World Series. I want to see this team, because this team is so beloved in this town. I want to see them win. I want to see them win a World Series. I want to see this team win. And if they do that, and I'm at a parade on Broad Street, I'm not going to be sitting there, and let's say they trade Aiden Miller and Andrew Painter to get the two guys from Oakland. I'm not going to be sitting there at the parade going, yeah, but it would have been nice to have Miller and Painter. That just, no! I'm not going to think that at all. I'm going to be happy. We won. We overcame it. We put it away. We sealed the deal. We're World Series champions, and not only that, but we can contend again, right? This team isn't going to go away next season, right? They're still going to be there, right? And Miller and Rooker are still going to be part of the team. They're under contract for a few years. So it's many reasons why you would do the deal, and one of the big ones is those guys are still under contract. They're not rentals. I wouldn't move Miller or Painter for any rental. I don't care who it is. It could be Juan Soto. It could be anyone. You name me a player coming at the end of his contract. I'm not doing it, because it's a rental, and there's no guarantee. If you lose and then you lose that player, now you still have the hole. But if you make the move with Oakland and you get Rooker and Miller, and they fill two of your holes, those holes are still going to be filled going into next season and the season after. So you can, it's not just a 1 year rental, rest of the year rental, and that's it, right? That's the end of it, And that doesn't always happen, right? Players like that don't always become available, but there's a chance. There's a chance that Oakland moves them because, right, they're in rebuild mode. They need high-level prospects. So the Phillies have two pretty high-level prospects to move, among others. And maybe you get the deal done. Maybe that's enough to do it. And maybe by them doing it, it allows a team like an Atlanta or a Mets or a Pirates or even a Dodgers or Brewers to not do it, right? And then you don't even have to worry about throwing other teams. Not just this season, but for the next how many seasons, Yeah, it's tough, and I can understand the argument the other way, because how often are we going to have prospects like this? But that's where you have to believe in Dombrowski and Mattingly and the other scouts that they have, because those are the guys that found these two guys. Miller and Painter, they weren't here, how many years ago? They. The other thing that kind of concerns me is that there were other high-level prospects the Phillies had, and they kind of fizzled out. Abel and some of these other guys that last year were like untouchable. Now it's like, oh, we'll throw them in any deal, whatever. Prospects are what they are. Now, I think Miller and Painter are going to be two very good players in baseball. I do. I feel they're, wherever they go, whether it's with the Phillies, whether it's with the A's or whoever, if they have to move them to another team this year or next season, right, to make that push. I think wherever they go, they're going to be very good MLB players, very good, solid careers in the MLB. I think both of them just have the makeup for it. I'm not a scout, but, I have a feeling about those two. It would be tough to give them up, and I'm sure wherever they go, they'll succeed. And, they'll make multiple all-star teams and they'll have success with whatever teams they're on, or team that they're on, and maybe it will still be here. But I look at the Phillies right now, I see what they have, I see what they don't have, and I see that they have a window, that it might not get better than this. So it's the old saying, strike while the iron's hot. The iron is burning. It's there. They're there. They have a great chance to do something truly special. Not just this season, but for the next few years. And as a fan, that's all I want to do is win. That's all I want. I just want to win. Right? The old Al Davis said, just win, baby, right? That's all I want to do as a Phillies. I want to see them win. I want to see them win a World Series. I want to go to the parade. I want to have all that that experience what we did in '08 again, over again. And even more, because, I mean, I'm older now. I was, old enough to certainly appreciate it in '08, but, I mean, I'm even older now to appreciate it even more. I'm a partial season ticket holder. I feel like I have a bit of a stake in the team now. I want to see them win. And if to win a World Series means giving up an Aiden Miller and a Andrew Painter at the deadline to get Rooker and Miller, Mason Miller, I got to do that deal. I gotta do that deal because this is the chance. It's there. Don't let it get away. Again, look, and it takes two to tango. Maybe Oakland just isn't really greatly interested in moving them because they are players that are under contract there for a few years. And look, I mean, if they're not going to be winning right now, maybe Oakland feels, well, in a few years, we'll put it together in Las Vegas or whatever, and those guys will still be part of the team. It could be that Oakland doesn't want to move them. I mean, and that's their prerogative. But if you sweeten the pot, with some high-level prospects on the team that needs them, that needs to rebuild, and those are their most movable pieces that they can get the most in return for. I mean, you see teams do it all the time. There are risks. There are. I mean, Rooker, look, he's having his best season in the majors. He could come here and he could be a bust. I mean, he can come here and be, Lance Parrish. Many years ago, when the Phillies got him at a free agent, and he was like a World Series champion, one of the best catchers in the game. He came here, he was terrible. That was a little before my time, but I've heard the horror stories. And also, you give up a Miller and a Painter, it could be Ryan Sandberg all over again and Fergie Jenkins all over again. See, I wouldn't trade with the Cubs. I think you learned a lesson. Don't trade with the Cubs. The trades never go the Phillies' way when they trade with the Cubs. Don't do it. That's the one team stay away from. Don't trade for Bellinger. Because whoever the Phillies give up to the Cubs will be a future Hall of Famer. Yeah, so, yeah. But Oakland, though, that's okay. Many years ago, they were in Philly, so they can help us again. It's all right. We can have a little handshake agreement. All right. One former Philadelphia team helping the current team out. That'll be all right. It's a tough thing, man. Because there is a part of me that would feel a little certain way if it takes both of them to get the deal done. But again, I see what this team needs, and I see what those players are. And I know if they get those players here, particularly Miller, that hammer at the end of the bullpen, that lockdown ninth inning, that's it, game over. Basically, he comes in the game, it's all over, and I think I would have to do it. And I know it's been a big topic of conversation in local sports talk radio, and there's been so many different schools of thought on it. But man, I opportunities like this don't come along every year. And it's like when it's there, and these are two guys that fit needs that you have, even as good as this team is, I got to do the deal. I got to Miller for Miller and Painter or I should say Painter for Miller and Miller for Rooker. I mean, I got to do it. I got to do it because I got to win now. I got to win now. And I have hope that this, this scout team that they have that's much better than what they used to have are going to be able to find the next crop of big-time prospects, right? And maybe those guys will be a part of the future of the team, right? If it's not going to be Miller or Painter or even Crawford. I still think that they're in a mood right now where you got to go for it because they have some veterans on the team. And when those guys are ready to come up, I don't know what the Phillies are going to be then in a few years. I would hope that they'd still be good and competing, and more than likely they will. But you can't guarantee it. You can't guarantee next season. You can't guarantee the rest of the season. But I think that those guys could help them put them over the top. I really do, and I don't always say that. Not every player that I look at and say, oh yeah, this guy, right? But I have a feeling about those two, and it's like, yeah, we kind of need that. we do kind of need that, and it's there. It's going to take giving up quite a haul, but if the end reward is bling on the hand, on the finger, all right, it's worth doing it. It is, at least to me. I want to be on Broad Street in November. I want to I want to be at that damn parade. But and if it takes giving up some top level prospects to do it, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. And I think that they're in the mode where they will do it. I think that they have an owner that wants it badly. I think the GM certainly wants it. I think that, in the moves that they've made to this point, they got rid of Whit Merrifield. I don't think they would have even done that a year ago, but he was doing nothing. He was a veteran. That was $9 million, and they just said, all right, you can go. I mean, that is a move the Phillies would not have made last year. So this is the different Phillies this year. This is the aggressive Phillies, right? I want to see them make a move. I really do. And if they don't, and if they make some other move that strengthens the bullpen and gets them another outfielder, maybe that works. Maybe that's, maybe that results in the World Series, right? It's not always the flashy moves that do it, but boy, if you have a chance to get those two. Oh. And they already proved that they like it here. Rooker likes hitting here, and Miller, no problem when he was on the mound here. The mound doesn't hurt him here. It's okay. I don't know, man. I just I want it, man. I want to win. I want to win. I just, if it's a dynasty, not whatever. I just want to win. I just want a World Series title. God knows the Sixers hurt me enough, and the Eagles, you just never know. They sometimes kind of get in their own way, and then the Flyers are they're even with Mishkov, they're still years away. So the Phillies, they're right there. They're on the doorstep, baby. Kick that door down. Anyhow, that's my like a billion cents on this. I know I've gone on very long in this video. An hour and almost a half. So thanks for hanging in there with me. I promise the next videos will be shorter. I had a lot to say, I guess, and I'm excited for the trade deadline, man. I just want things to work out. That's all I want. I want to win. Is that too much to ask? It's really not too much to ask. Anyhow, what do you always got to do? You got to leave those likes. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to all future content from yours truly. And keep hitting that subscribe button, man. The goal, again, for the end of the year is get to 2K subs, right? Let's get to that 2K. Get me that 2K. Whether or not the Phillies win the World Series. Let's get to that 2K subs. And I will see you all around the channel. You all take care. All right, everyone. Bye.